The game Deadcore firmly places a unique set of skills on the mouldy, scummy stain table which is the FPS genre. It's a platformer FPS published by Bandai Namco and created by 5-Bits Games. Deadcore strikes me as one of those games that would have been a colossal hit 15 years ago. Not that the game isn't good, it just seems dated for something of the 21st century, a century where FPS requires absolutely zero skill and is about pointing at things with a thing until the thing you are pointing at ceases to exist as a state. This is a pretty accepted culture in the FPS genre, and for 5-Bits Games to bring out a platform FPS, which requires a lot of hand-eye coordination, thinking, it almost affirms their passion for this game. And if there's one thing I love about game development, it's passion for games and not for that dollar. So I enjoyed it, and I surprised myself massively. I would have thought it would be a chore to play through, but it's not. So to start, this game has good controls, and I know for people who enjoy platformers, there are those games out there that had abysmal controls, clunky movement, just so awful that the game was virtually unplayable no matter how much pizzazz it possessed. So Deadcore is looking pretty attractive from across the bar already. The controls don't constantly wrestle with the gameplay, and jumping around the platforms feel liquid. When you move, you feel light, so it's fun to jump from platform to platform effortlessly until the game ramps up the difficulty curve. Briefly mentioned last paragraph, the difficulty curve ramps up, but it ramps up with you on board. It introduces you to the controls and new abilities before it throws you into the shark infested water. Granted, this game is difficult, but it feels necessarily difficult to allow you to draw a challenge from the game with a sense of progression. What's the point of heading for a goal when you can float there effortlessly? I almost didn't want to compare it to Super Mario Bros, but I am. This game is one of those games where you have to perfect every instance to get past to the next level. You have checkpoints and you keep respawning until you have done everything perfectly, like Mario. Anyone who views this will probably be thinking, oh, won't that be dead frustrating? No, but it's not as bad as you think. When I played it, I had a lust for getting past the level. I just wanted to see what they could possibly do to make it harder than it is right now, and it got harder indefinitely. This game isn't to the standard of dungeon crawler puzzles, but it stands up on its own two legs. There are instances where it virtually tells you nothing and you have to use your set of skills that you learn, granting them a relevance to being acquired. The puzzles are less about brain power and more about speed and ability. Some of the puzzles might include a mob that pushes you off platforms, but you can disable him with your gun for a couple of seconds, so you have to time the right moment before you take the leap. There also may be turrets which don't kill you but knock you back into objects which will kill you, or off platforms which will also kill you. No game is perfect, and there are some minor faults with gameplay which may cause you to stop playing the game. Maybe it's only happened to me, but when I went into the settings in the menu, the game completely crashed and I had to load it up again. In this game, there were bits where it doesn't give you any information or help in what you must do. Sometimes it can work to the game's favour, adding a little bit of challenge and allowing you to use your own noggin rather than relying on a game holding your hand. But on one instance, I genuinely didn't have a clue what to do. I was completely stuck. Not only this, I didn't know how to use the skill that I just acquired called Jetpack, stumping my progression through the game. This didn't stop me from playing because I have an obligation to play this game, and I passed it after multiple attempts, but for someone who is trying to just complete the game to acquire a sense of progression and challenge, or even do a speedrun, they might just leave the game to one side. So for an indie low budget game, this is well worth it. For the hours you get out of it, it's fun and leaves you satisfied. So Deadcore did look attractive from across the bar and definitely fulfilled their side of the deal when it comes to the crunch. For the minor faults I mentioned, most can be fixed with a little patch. It's not a big deal, I suppose it could have been better. Deadcore's world is interesting and it has a sci-fi feel to it, like you're inside a computer chip. It's enjoyable and you can play it competitively with your family or friends with speedruns. So I award this game a 3 out of 5. I enjoyed it, and for an indie game it fills its boots very well. I'm Cal, thanks for watching.